I'd like to introduce Jen Pandernal from Cypher Learning. Currently, Jen is the Global Director of Education and Technology at Cypher Learning, a global company that specializes in providing learning platforms for organizations around the world. Jen is responsible for delivering educational technology centers for the company worldwide and designs online courses, resources, webinars, so that organizations and schools can experience the full functionality of learning platforms. Jen, over to you.
Thank you, Greg. Hello, everybody. I hope that all of you are keeping safe. I'd like to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, just to make sure I cover all of the time zones and to make sure that you're seeing my screen. Can I get a thumbs up if you're seeing my screen and
Yes,
if you can hear me clearly?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So just so you know, I'm on the other side of the world. I'm in the Philippines at the moment. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I've been listening to the speakers and I've been learning a lot from them also. So today I'm going to be sharing a little bit something about hybrid workplace, which is becoming more and more popular, especially in this time of pandemic. And I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, are actually experiencing now this new way of working. You work from home and at the same time you work at the office. So that's kind of like a little bit something new. Let me just share this with you. Do you feel this also? Year 2020, a little bit of a backtrack here. Everything stopped when 2020 happened. The world stopped. Things were put into halt. So the hashtag, a popular hashtag would probably be year 2020, the struggle is real. So work, schools, events, other activities, a lot of changes happened, especially in the world of work. Imagine we are used to getting up in the morning, dressing up for work, putting on our best business attire, or driving to work, taking the bus, taking the train. That's kind of like our usual routine. But when the pandemic happened, that definitely changed. It changes everything. It changes the way that we work. It changes the way that we move. It changes kind of like, the way that we do things normally. And even training and or working from home, this became the new normal. And this is what most companies thought is the safest way for everybody so that they can also continue their business operations. And I, for one, agree with this. I'm currently experiencing this kind of setup. But now that in some countries where COVID cases are slowly decreasing and things are starting to ease up, and more establishments are starting to open and having their employees return to work, we have a new challenge. There's a new struggle in town, and that's returning to work. Returning to work is becoming a struggle because we have a lot of concerns now. Okay, this has been a lot of employees are getting anxious about returning to work. Imagine 1.5 year or more than almost 2 years of that's more than 1.5 year, right? It's almost 2 years of not being in a physical public workplace, and then suddenly when things are starting to ease up, not that it's bad, we have to return to work. Okay, so we have a lot of concerns now. A lot of employees, a lot of us, and we can all probably uh, relate to this. They start to think of many things. They start to think of how am I going to do this? They start to become anxious, having a hard time to adjust, especially that they have been, as I mentioned, we have been at home for more than a year or almost 2 years. So we worry about a lot of things. We worry about physical and social distancing. We have to wear masks in our workplace. We worry about public transport or commuting publicly. We worry about our family because, if we worry about if we go out and we come back home, we're probably infected and we infect also the members of our family. So these are the things that's making a lot of people, a lot of us very anxious at the moment. So we think of how are we going to make this work? No, not only the employees are thinking, how do I make this work? I need this livelihood. I need work, but I'm too scared to go to a physical office at the moment because we know that, COVID is still there. And at the same time, the employers of the organization are also thinking of, hey, I need to keep my employees, but I also need to make something work. They can't just keep working at home, but there's also a risk when I ask them to return to the physical workspace. So probably this could be the answer, creating a hybrid workplace. So to address that, we can look at, creating a different workspace or workplace now. A lot of companies are doing this now, while others are probably still contemplating and still thinking how they can make this work. So let's see. Let me provide some perspective that might help others make this decision, because I'm personally experiencing a hybrid workplace. So the concept is very simple. A hybrid workplace is a combination of working from home with working from the office. Pretty straightforward, working remotely and working in the physical office. This model aims to strike a balance of productivity at work, reducing stress of commute, reducing the stress of being in the outside world and the risk of getting infected. And there are several approaches to a hybrid workplace. There are many, but I'm going to share a few with you. One of which is portioning approach. Okay, sounds like portioning of food, right? Portioning approach, this is kind of like a portion of your employees are working from home, while the other portion are working at the office. So in this approach, what you need to look at are the different responsibilities and the task of employees, and see what tasks are possible to be done at home. So not everybody gets to work at home, because there are things that cannot be done at home. So this approach lessens the number of people going to office, thus lessens the viral load and the chance of people getting infected. And then you also have the rotation approach. Okay, the way that it works is that alternately groups of employees can work from home and the others in the office. So probably group A of employees this week work from home. Group B is at the office, and then you switch the following week. B is at the office, and then A stays at home. So that would also lessen the number of people in the workplace. And then you have the on-call approach. So everybody works from home, and then as needed or if needed, for example, a town hall or critical meeting, special events, they can be on site with limited number. And then you can also have this approach that's choose your own setup. If it's really important for everybody to return to work, you may allow your employees to choose their own workplace setup or workplace preference, the setup that makes them feel safer and comfortable, but not really isolated. So you can also try that one. So along with this hybrid workplace approach for returning to work, there are some benefits that we can get from this. So the benefits of hybrid workplace are, it could be more than what I'm sharing with you. But one of the many benefits would be it promotes a good mental and emotional well-being of employees. A hybrid workplace puts into priority the employee well-being. It has to encourage work-life balance, which can help ease anxiety of employees that may have about returning to a physical workspace or having to commute on a public transportation. This is very critical for those employees who are immunocompromised or caring for someone who's immunocompromised at home. It's also economical in some sense, because companies can save a lot of money or resources when employees choose to work from home, like internet, electricity, rental expenses, and any other facility costs that company won't also need to look for a larger space, which means also savings from rental fees. And this could also be a less turnover, right? Employees worry less about their safety. It's less likely that they will leave and they will quit and find another company that puts their safety on priority. And then also it gives the company an opportunity to keep a pool of talent easier. So organizations offering a combination of physical and remote work setup for employees will also likely to have a larger talent pool, because they can hire from any geographic location or region to work for them. And I can attest to that, because I've worked in a largely diverse company whose employees are located in different countries. So that's going to be another advantage for a hybrid workplace. So another one is it promotes a safer work environment, of course. Hybrid workplace reduce the chances of spreading contagious viruses or diseases. They can choose to work from home if they're feeling a little bit unwell or a little bit under the weather. So a hybrid workplace may also be an alternative to organization with employees who are a little bit hesitant or do not plan on getting vaccinated, but I hope that everyone does. And then more importantly, it can create a disaster-proof organization for you. So a disaster-proof organization is it's a model that promotes continuously working despite these disturbances. So work and training can continue in a hybrid workplace, especially when you're having proper use of technology like a learning management system. So along with the benefits, you're probably thinking, hey, there are benefits, but what about the challenges? So there are also challenges. Not everyone can do hybrid. Not all employees can work remotely. Frontliners, they cannot. Machine operators, they cannot. So we have to look at that. Connectivity issue is another. Not everybody has a very strong internet connectivity, as mentioned by one of our speakers earlier. Productivity issue could also be, some managers might think that just because the employees are working at home, then they are not productive. Or an employee might think that, hey, just because my manager is not seeing me working, he might think I'm not productive. And another challenge would probably the feeling of exclusion. Not being included in critical conversation is kind of like an issue also. The feeling of isolation, because most employees who's been working at home might feel that they're being isolated, especially the extroverted ones just like me. So these are just some of the challenges. But with these challenges, there are also things that we can do to combat these challenges. And I'm going to give a few tips on how you can successfully implement a hybrid workplace. First is prioritize safety. Make the workplace a safe haven for returning employees so that they don't feel anxious or worried about getting sick or being infected when they are in the physical office. You also want to make sure that it's inclusive. Make sure that you involve your employees in the process of setting up for a hybrid workplace. Okay, make sure that their ideas matters and their opinion matters. So you also have to maintain fairness and balance. Maintain fairness and balance between those who can and cannot work remotely. That's very important. Another one is communicate. Maintain a regular and open communication between you and your employees about the company's plan when it comes to returning to work. It's very important that for the employees to know for how long are they going to be working from home and when are they going to be returning to work. Another important thing to look at is invest in technology. Make sure that to stay connected, you have to leverage in technology and you have to adapt the right tools. Make sure that the right tools are being used. Employee training is an important aspect, so make sure that you have a good learning management system for one to be used in employee training. So these are some of the tips that I can share with you so that you can implement a successful hybrid workplace. And to end my presentation, because I want to keep that 10 minutes, I think I'm over 1 minute now, but just to share with you the silver lining of what's happening in the situation. So the pandemic brought the world to a standstill. Definitely it does. But think about this. This also brought out the best in each and every one of us. We became more resourceful, we became more creative, and we became more innovative. So think about setting up your own hybrid workplace now and make it work for everybody so that everybody is keeping safe. Thank you so much, everyone. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, Jen. That was great, and I know that you're joining the panel discussion after this. Yes. So obviously people can send you questions in the panel discussion. But for now, thank you very much.